Why don't you tell the audience the I versus you method? Because you did that a lot when
Okay.
I would talk to you, and then we'll get into the podcast question.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this is something that I had to learn early, from that almost invisible stage of my life. Um,
And how old were you when you like realized that you were invisible?
I was probably that age, 17, 18, 19. I was in
Okay.
college. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew I was um, clueless, right? But I wanted to, and my mom would say, "You're in your own little world." And later, when I was an adult, I would ask her, why didn't you? She was like, "What did you want me to do?" I don't know, do something. But I mean, I just was in my room by myself. I'd go to the library and get stacks of books and nothing big,
Yeah.
Remus and Rosemary or whatever those books were. It wasn't
Hmm.
it wasn't intellectual. It was just I was happiest by myself. Still am pretty much. So
Yeah, well, I am too. I mean, I think that's a nature thing.
yeah, exactly. But I have found, and this is something that's pervasive that I see all the time. People talk to themselves from the third person. You always do X. We speak to ourselves. I found myself, I'll just use myself as the example, talking to myself in that you voice. You're not doing that. Why do you do that? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And what happened to me was um, I came to this realization that I was like carrying around this other voice
Person.
that
Yeah.
was like, and it was like, I call it the
Judging.
mother voice. Yep. And in my case, it kind of was my mother, although she never asked me much of anything. I love you. I don't know who will see this. I'm now not going to share this with anyone in my family. So anyway, but anyway,
Oh,
um, we speak to ourselves in the you third person. I said to myself, "You better get new pair of shoes or whatever it is." I said to myself, we use that. We know we're there as I, but and inside our head, there's a lot of you. Just you and should. Should is another one of my big
yeah.
bugaboos. Especially you should together. Who's saying that? At least flip it. And so that was another one of the 99 times things that I changed. I am no longer, you will never hear me refer to myself as you
Hmm.
ever. If I'm talking about me or thinking about me, I'm always I or me.
Hmm.
Period. That one I've worked on my whole life. And I notice it with people. Um, And I'll even say to strangers, it's probably not a good idea to talk to yourself like as if you're somebody else. Who are you? Why are you talking to yourself as you? Like it just doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
And but many, 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 many people do.
Yeah, I definitely did. You would call me out all the time. You'd be like, "There you go. Who was you?" And that was a hard one to change. Um,
It is hard.
but it's much more empowering. And then I even debated you when I wasn't on the phone with you when I was changing it. And I was like, "Is she right? Like, I asked the floating question, like, and how do I feel about this?" And then over time, I guess I agreed because it changed. And now it's I need to, or if I'm running with Barkley or a group of people, like,
Right, right.
yeah, like we can do this, we can finish this run or,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it's these subtle things that
Tiny.
really help.
It's really tiny and it's really and I don't even know because I literally have been working on it so long. I don't know if um, how detrimental it is. I
Yeah.
just found it created um, webs webs of thinking, like, because within this decision making process, how many people are in here? And some people
Yeah.
do struggle and have separate, there are entities within them. But if
Hmm.
it's not like a true psychological thing, it can
Then
be
you're just
controlled, and it keeps things clearer. And it's also like, who are you to tell me what? Get out of here. I don't
right.
need advice from half of me. Like, just go, it's almost like, why am I talking to myself? Why? Here's a question I've asked people, and I did it. Are you saying something to yourself that you would say to a friend?
Yeah.
Because we speak to ourselves so much more harshly than we would ever talk to a friend.
Right.
We would never say to a friend, you should blah, 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 blah. We might if they were a super close friend, or if we
Hmm.
were done with them.
We wanted to never see them again. We could start shitting all over them. You should.
But why do we let ourselves speak to ourselves in a harsh way? We should speak to ourselves in the kindest of ways, right?
Yeah.
Even if we're upset with ourselves, oh, I wish I would have done that sooner, or I wish I didn't do that. But then, there's another day, or there's not. But,
Hmm.
it's why not take that little bit? It's actually less time to talk to ourselves as I, because then there's not a conversation. Well, you should do
Right.
that. I know, but da 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 da. And then there was literally
Yeah.
time passing while I'm thinking, and it's like I'm literally having a conversation inside my head with myself. And I
Hmm.
think a lot of people do that, not knowing it, not meaning to, but
Hmm.
just not realizing that they can control that.
I love that. Yeah. No, it's definitely helpful because it's such a shorter synopsis and like thought. Well, we'll end with the podcast question so you can get to your work. In your entire life, would you say, have you ever had what you would consider a spiritual moment? And I know that you're going to now say yes because we talked about it before. But this is just goes to the debate we've had many times on the phone about um, which I'm beginning to understand now from a healthier mentality and just a growth um, perspective is that you were not saying that you weren't spiritual. You were saying that we as individuals, the individual human and the brain is so powerful that it's very similar to the thought that of the people who believe that we are God, each and every one of us, as opposed to being separated from God. And so, anyways, just wanted to give you that
So when you say a spiritual moment,
moment. Hmm.
meaning something that I felt was beyond me.
Yes, that's a great clarification.
Well, I had a very weird thing happen when I
Okay.
was really young. I was literally, um, okay, I was sitting in my mom's bedroom on the floor watching her little TV she had in her bedroom. Johnny Carson was on
Okay.
the TV. And I would sit at the end of it because I loved comedy even then. And I would
Yeah.
sit, she was sleeping in the bed, and I'm on the floor watching the TV up there. And um, I had, I think it's far, far away now, really far away. But somehow I was dreaming about flying, but I was dreaming about flying like a rocket ship, like that way, like
Like you'd push off
straight.
the ground and you
No,
were
like I was soaring
okay,
through space, far, far through space.
but not in a ship, like as
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, no, not in a
Okay.
ship, just me.
Okay.
And the phone rang, the telephone in my house, the telephone rang. And I heard my mom answer the phone, hello. And then she said, "Yeah, hold on a minute." And then she yells, "It's for you. It was for me." And I'm like, and I somehow got the phone and I heard voices and people, it sounded like voices saying, "Stop. What the fuck are you doing? Like, don't do that. Stop right now." And like, it was like a crowd of voices were yelling, basically saying, "What you're doing, don't do this." And the next thing I remember is I was, I went, so I hung up the phone and I wasn't doing the flying thing anymore. And I walked back into, there was a kitchen, there was a hallway, and then my bedroom. And I walked back in my bedroom and I laid down on the bed. And then I tried to wake up. And that's when I realized I was sound asleep. I was already laying on the bed. Like I had not moved. My body weighed 1,000 pounds. I was like, and then I was like, oh my God, I wasn't awake. It was some sort of a dream. But it was, I feel like I was like, there's a tether. That's something that I was risking breaking by just, I was just going to keep going. Whatever I was doing, I was just going to keep going. And then the phone thing was loud and clear. It was like I heard my mom go, "It's for you." And I went to the phone, picked it up, and it was just all these loud voices just screaming, "Stop it, stop it. What are you doing? No, 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 no." And then I kind of walked back in my bedroom and laid on the bed. And that's when I realized I had not moved at all. I was literally completely just still in the bed. And it was, so anyway, as you were asking that question, I remembered that thing.
That's crazy. I don't even know how to analyze that.
I don't either. I think I was probably 10 or 11. I think it was around the time of, you probably don't know because you're a lot younger than me, but like Shirley MacLaine and all of the out of body experiences and stuff. But I don't know. But that was something where I felt like something or someone or my own brain or something said, "Don't do that.
So you've
Don't do
never obviously tried that again.
it." I didn't try it that time. Like, no, I never.
No, you didn't. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
just,
wow.
but I remember knowing I wasn't going to stop. I was just going to, because I was like, wow, this is
So
cool.
you were traveling through space
Directly up into
directly.
space. I wasn't like, I'm going to go over to Detroit.
No, no. I actually was thinking like it wasn't like you were. I mean, because well, the universe is so expansive. So you're obviously traveling within the universe. So you're in space, but you kept going up.
I kept going out into space. I wasn't going to stop. Like I definitely was aware of the fact that um, this is cool, and I'm just going to keep going. And I was speeding. It was speeding. It was racing. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, that is. I'm going to be thinking about that.
I don't know what it means.
I
I
don't
don't
either.
know.
I'm going to be thinking
I
about
don't,
that.
I don't know what it means. I don't know what it meant then. And yeah, who knows?
That's
But
crazy.
that what when of like outside of me something saying, you know, and I've had other things in that process when I was very uh
Malleable.
yeah, almost like um what's the word, scaffolding, because
Hmm.
once I began this process and began trying to find answers to me,
Hmm.
it was scaffold, like it built like a scaffold, and then things have added on since then. But in that there were, you know spiritual questions, and a lot of seeking God, and then seeking, whatever Buddhist principles and all of that
Hmm.
stuff. um and I never really gave up on that stuff. To me, I just found it not satisfying, or not the answer, not what I needed. Um,
Hmm.
but so I have had periods where I was like, "Well, that's kind of interesting," but that was the weirdest one that I just told you.
That is a weird one. You've also shared another story with me that we'll have to have.
Yeah, I
share
know.
with the audience. I know that you know which one I'm talking about.
Yes, you do. I know. And I was going to
Um,
tell that one, but as you asked the question, this story came to mind. I was like, oh, I
yeah, no, the other one's quite great too. So this is why I find Robin to be one of the most fascinating people to speak with, and she's one of my favorite people on this planet.
know.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate you. If you haven't seen my other podcasts, check them out on dannygolden.com. And thank you so much, Robin, for being such a valuable resource and incredible teacher for me and for a lot of young kids who really need it and for humanity. Really appreciate you.
Well, I really appreciate the appreciation, and it's nice to know that somebody listens to me.
I have, and I feel like the wisdom that you've kindly shared with me has really helped me, and that's why I felt so compelled to have you as a guest on the podcast, because I could not share this wisdom the same way that you've shared it with me and do it justice. So seriously, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks.